founder of DLA Ignite. With me today, I've got Anita Wong, and we're going to be talking about how you can be found on Google by using YouTube.
Yes, exciting.
Exciting, yes. So, Anita, where can people find you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn as Anita Wong, and my main social media platform is YouTube, but you can also find me on Instagram, and it's all under my name, Anita Wong. You'll find me there on any of those.
And I should think that's a fairly unique-ish name.
Yeah, it is, although there is a dentist in New York called Anita Wong who has the .com, as I found out when I went to buy my URL. So I'm running off the .co.uk, but that's fine. I rank higher than her on everything. So that's why I'm here to tell you how to rank on Google.
So, give us some background in terms of your experience, because you are a YouTube. I'm going to use the word expert because you know a lot about YouTube. So give us a little bit about your background, because actually you've got an interesting background because you used to be an ICU nurse.
Yeah, that's right. So when I finished school, I went into nursing and trained as a general nurse. And then I did my post-training into intensive care nursing and worked in neuro ICU in Oxford, and then went down to London and did cardiac, which is where I stayed. So I ended up staying in London. I met my husband, who's a heart surgeon, and then had children, and then thought to myself, I'm not bored, because obviously I love having my kids, but I wanted to do something else. And nursing wasn't really an option because working in ICU, you do 12-hour shifts. So I decided to go back to college with all the sixth formers and do a computer sort of course on how to design websites and also do some social media marketing. And from there, I started doing marketing for a few estate agents in Ealing. And then I set up my own sort of like shop with a girlfriend, selling sort of like skate shoes, and then really just got the love of digital from there. And I was doing a lot of networking, and actually set up a networking group in West London where I live, and started helping those entrepreneurs understand how to use the tech and the social media platforms. And that's really where my sort of like love of using the tech and making sure that everything connects and works for you so that you don't have to work too hard came from, basically. And that's sort of like where I ended up sharing that knowledge that I was sharing with them onto YouTube. And that's how my love of YouTube grew.
Because one of the things I think quite often misunderstood about YouTube is if we think about, because we're talking about, we're going to go to Google, how does somebody find Anita Wong? So first and foremost, we probably, if we take a step back, we don't know Anita's name.
Yeah.
So we've got a problem that we're looking for a solution. And what I think a lot of people don't understand is they think content. What we need is to write a blog. Because what we're going to do, we're not going to buy, because if we're not going to get in the business of ads, which is a completely different subject, we want to rank on page one. But the first thing we always think about is a written blog. But actually, Google, because it owns YouTube, likes YouTube, and therefore likes promoting YouTube videos.
That's right. So obviously having a blog is really important. Having your own website is really important, because that's the domain that you own. You know, social media can disappear overnight. You know, we don't control our social media platforms. We're just borrowing that space. Whereas if you have your own website, you own that domain as long as you keep up paying for the domain, sort of thing. So that's where Google as a whole comes in, because what happens is that, like you say, if you don't really know who it is that you're looking for, you just know what your problem is, you go to Google, because that's pretty much where most people go. I know they go to like Yahoo and all the other search engines, but they're all pretty much interlinked in the background. And you type in your problem that you have, or the solution that you're trying to solve, and up pops content that's written in blog form, but also up pops video, because that's where YouTube and Google really sort of like own it in a way, because Google owns YouTube and therefore gives priority to videos as well. So the idea is that when you put a video up on YouTube, you want to optimize it as best as possible for the search terms that your audience is searching for, in order for that to be pulled into Google as well.
So for example, my partner's youngest is now 29. When he bought a flat, he wanted to lay a floor.
Mhm.
And therefore, he went to Google and said, "How do I lay a floor?" and found a video on YouTube. And he's also now a bike mechanic
Mhm.
purely through watching YouTube videos.
Yeah. So I don't know the stats, although I have just done a talk. I think it's something like 80% of people purchase a new product or service, or go to a new service, because they've found it on YouTube.
Mm.
Because of the nature of the video, it's so much easier to explain or set out the steps that someone might need to follow in order to accomplish what they're after. And a video format does that so much better. Now, you can, of course, help Google to rank your video even higher by writing a blog about your video and then hosting that video that's on YouTube on your website as well. And YouTube helps you do that, because it gives you the coding to actually place that video on your website. And a lot of modern websites now, you can just put the link in and it will actually show the video for you. So I think the thing is with YouTube, and I think this is where it's a great platform to actually put a lot more of your time into, is that it doesn't mind you leaving it to go and do something else. Of course, it would prefer for you to sit on YouTube the whole day and consume the content that's on YouTube, but it doesn't penalize you for taking people away from YouTube, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas I know that a lot of
On
other
LinkedIn, for
platforms.
example, it's a walled garden, isn't it? And if you put a link to something in the they actually penalize you, because in effect you're sending the person outside of LinkedIn.
Yeah, and Facebook and Instagram. Well, Facebook don't like you doing it either.
It's the
They
same, yeah.
tend to sort of like dampen down your reach a little bit.
Hmm.
Instagram, they've made it quite hard for you to do that anyway, because you've only really got the link in the profile page. But YouTube, obviously they want you to stay on the platform to watch their products, but they won't hinder the reach of your video because you've put links in your description. In fact, they actively encourage you to put links in your description, because they want you to utilize the platform. But they do help you stay on as well. And I think that's where, if you're a business owner putting your time into creating video on YouTube, there are some steps within the video optimization that will help you to keep people on the platform for longer.
So if I'm a small business, or I'm an entrepreneur, and I want to be found, what can YouTube do for me?
Okay, so YouTube can actually, first of all, give you social proof. So you can use the channel to show people like how your authority within your space. And by doing that, you can give information over whether it's how to strategy step by step. But it can also enable you to use it as a source of free resources, so that you can actually sort of like, they can get to know, like, and trust you.
Yep.
And it can actually aid you getting more work, because when people find you on YouTube and on Google, it sort of gives you that double whammy of like, actually, this person knows, this person's doing what they're doing. And you can actually do things like what we're doing now on YouTube, which is obviously on YouTube. And then you can also have people leave reviews, and you can share that and things like that.
So, for example, on this, for me, doing a podcast, part of it is social proof.
Yeah, exactly.
And I do two things with the live streaming, which is I live stream to YouTube, and I'm doing that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that I get people watching from that. And the other thing is that I then take the recording and I put it on YouTube as a recording.
Yeah, and you can also benefit from, there's so many different tools now on YouTube that help you do that. So I've actually connected my Restream, because we're live streaming with Restream. I've connected that to my YouTube channel as well. And what you can do as well is you can take the link from the video and put it into a software, say, like, for example, I use Opus Pro, and that software takes short snippets from this long video and pulls out the best little elements, and then you can put that onto YouTube, and they have like this invisible link, or what they call it, a related video, that you can put on there and then go back. Just want to say hello to Andrew. Hi, Andrew. So Andrew is a YouTuber in America. He actually helps me with my YouTube. So hi, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. Thanks. And it's good to see that we're getting a comment through from YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the great thing about doing live streams, and like you say, your podcast, because you've been able to put that onto YouTube. What we could do now after this is, if you had a blog, you would write about this and then embed this onto your blog, and then people will be able to see that you're interviewing experts in their field, and that in itself, you know, obviously increases your social proof amongst your peers as well.
Yeah. So and the other thing is that so you can create a blog, you can put it on YouTube, and what you're talking about in terms of the software package is that you can then create shorts, can't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
which is YouTube's version of TikTok, really, and they're pushing that hard, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So a lot of people find that short video is quite easy to create because you don't have to spend as much time. And well, some people do spend a lot of time on their shorts, but you know, depending on what you want to do, you can either create a short video without having any other video, and you do like top tips and things like that, or you can create a short video from a long form video by cutting the best bits out. And on YouTube, they are YouTube shorts, and they have their own space, as well as actually your podcast has your own space on YouTube as well. So if you think about, say, like if we take Instagram, for example, you've got Instagram Reels and you've got Instagram. So that's sort of like its own little capsule, isn't it? Whereas with YouTube, you've got your YouTube channel, you've got your shorts, you've got your videos, you've got your lives, and then you've got your podcast. So you've already got 4 different elements, and that's without even talking about the community tab that's on YouTube. And then you've got Google over here going, well, you're my best friend. So every time someone searches for something on Google, I'm going to bring any of those things over into Google, and I'm going to shout about you. So it's a really good platform to get onto. And I think some people find it a little bit daunting or overwhelming, but actually you can get started on YouTube really easily with a short video, and you can actually repurpose what you're already creating for TikTok and Instagram, or even for LinkedIn, and actually put it onto YouTube.
And I think that you know, then as we're talking about search, I think more and more people are choosing, you know, when we search, we're searching for things, and ultimately we're choosing, shall we read a blog? I'm not sure if I can be bothered.
Yeah.
Or do we watch the video?
Yeah, exactly. And I think people are much more, you know, they prefer to watch something or even listen to something, because now with the podcasting feature on YouTube, you can actually listen to the audio, and YouTube has now sort of like joined their podcasting platform, their Google podcasting platform, onto YouTube as well. So you're also getting the audio of your video going into the Google Music arena as well. So that's another area that you're going to actually get viewership or, you know, visibility from. I think one thing to be sort of like really clear is that when you do put a video or a podcast or a short onto YouTube, that you sort of have to step into your audience's shoes when you're optimizing it.
And
I'm waiting for you to say that so that people are like, and
yeah.
So say, like, for example, you said your son was like a bike mechanic.
Yeah.
So when he does something, say like if he's thinking about how do I change a crank on a bicycle, he's going to know even what the word is. He's going to know what all the little parts and the mechanism of it is. Whereas if somebody's quite new to biking and they're like, well, I need to make my crank bigger, they're probably going to type something like that in the search. They're going to be like, so how do I change the crank on my bicycle or something? Whereas the person who's creating the video will probably put something a little bit more technical. So you've sort of got to meet in the middle, so that when somebody is searching for your video, that you get those keywords in.
So the big tip really is that is it the fact that you're naming the videos based on the search criteria,
Yes.
or is it okay, yes.
Yeah, so basically you want to name your video, number one, on what it is that you're talking about,
Yeah.
and also the other half of the title could be what it's going to be doing for the audience.
Right.
So that's sort of like would be beneficial. And then when you do that, there are certain places within the video optimization that you can repeat those keywords. So for those people that are listening or watching that don't really know how the keywords work in Google, if you were to write in the search, how fast does a cheetah run? Google is going to index that sentence and look for all the information on the internet, whether that's a blog or a video that actually has any part of that sentence in it. And then with the video, it's actually, because of the advance of how AI works, it's actually going to listen to the person speaking on the video as well. And also, if you've done your SRT file, which is like the transcript of the audio, it's also going to read that as well. And it's going to go, okay, so for example, how fast does a cheetah run? If there's a wildlife program where the wildlife photographer says, oh, we're looking at how fast this cheetah runs, of course there's the keywords there, even in the words that he's spoken. And then of course if you've got the transcript, that's also going to have those. So the more your title shows up in the description, in the tags, in the audio of the actual video, the higher the video is going to be ranked.
Right. And one of the things that I know that you've, in terms of advice that you've given, is that once you've actually done something, it's not set in stone, is it? You can go back and change it.
Yeah, you can go back and change it. And YouTube is actually helping you do that. YouTube is really trying to help you as a business owner and a creator to get the most out of the platform. So it has a new feature inside its studio, which actually looks at the string of keywords or the titles that people have been looking for on Google or YouTube when they found your video. So your video might not actually be the exact match to their search, but the sort of like types of videos that they're watching that's brought them to your channel. YouTube have got this tab called inspiration inside your YouTube studio, which actually tells you the different types of videos that your audience is also watching. So it gives you an idea of what other angles you could perhaps start talking about on your channel if it's related to, you know, what they're looking for. And of course, you've got the they've got a new feature where you've got the thumbnail. So, you know, like the place card that goes over the front. It's a little bit like if you're scrolling through the feed and something catches your eye, that's the sort of like the thumbnail. And they're helping you now use the AI within YouTube to sample different ones, and then it will tell you after 2 weeks which one's performing the best, and then put that one up and things like that.
I noticed that I noticed in the week that the UI had changed on YouTube, and so the user interface had changed.
Yeah.
And I'm pleased you said cheetah, because I've written cheetah down in my notes, and I'm sitting there thinking, what on earth? Why have I written cheetah down here?
Yeah. If you type into Google, how does Google work? Google's actual example is how fast does a cheetah run? Because I've watched their video. It's a very good video to watch on how it indexes your search term, and then of course how your video or your blog or anything else like that comes up. It's a very old video, but I always watch it. It's quite good.
So we talked about moving things from YouTube to maybe TikTok or Instagram. So how do you move things from TikTok or Instagram back to YouTube?
Yeah, so obviously TikTok, they're trying to encourage longer form videos over there as well. So when you're recording a video, I suppose it depends on where you start your video process. So if you start your video process on your mobile phone and you're recording everything on your phone, then you've already got that video on your phone and you can repurpose that to different platforms. But say like you're creating your video in TikTok, like you're using some of their filters and things like that. There's a feature on TikTok that allows you to download the video first before you publish it. Or there's some tools on Google that enable you to put the URL in and download the video. And then it's simply just uploading it onto YouTube as either a short video or a long form video. And you can do that either on your desktop inside of YouTube or on the mobile phone. YouTube have 2 apps on your mobile phone. You've got the actual YouTube itself and you have the YouTube Studio. So you can actually run the whole of your channel from your mobile phone if you don't have access to a laptop or a desktop. So it makes it really easy.
So we're at the 20 minutes, Anita. But I want to ask you one question. Further question is, how good are you on BMX bikes?
I hold my own. I'm pretty good. I raced this weekend in Scotland and at the National. So there was 14 women that I raced, and I came 4th and 3rd on.
Because you've got some trophies
in the
behind you,
background.
haven't you?
Yeah, I have. My highest position
Ever
is World 5, and I got that in Zolder.
You were 5th in the world.
Yeah, in the world. So in Zolder in 2019, I raced against 63 other women, age 40 plus, and I came 5th.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's my best achievement. Obviously,
it's why I chose a bike example.
Oh yeah, I wondered that.
Went, oh yeah, it's a crank. I thought, yeah, she's.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And I won't show you my office because I'm in the middle of packing, but I have several bikes on the other side of my computer that sort of sit there. But yeah, I'm very proud of this, and I worked really hard to get it. Oh, Sam's just said, well done. Yeah, so yeah, I'm a bit of a biker.
And I'll say hello to Sam. It was
Yeah,
Sam
hi,
that taught me how to use Restream.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah. I love Restream as well. Did some work for them a few years ago. So yeah.
So Anita, thank you so much. Loads of information in there. Hope that and Sam says she doesn't know what a crank is, which is
okay.
Which is
a crank is the bit that you pedal.
So Anita, where can people find you?
Yeah, so find me. Obviously, my website is anitawong.co.uk because we discussed why I don't have the .com. And YouTube is Anita Wong, and LinkedIn, of course, is Anita Wong. If you can find me on any of those platforms, give me a shout, send me a DM, and yeah, we can have a little chat about how you can get started on YouTube.